before, I feel like before LeBron, it was like, oh, we gotta take people with us. Nah, we got to put them in positions where they can shine too. Yeah, I think that's
absolutely,
and that's the goal. I mean, he showed us the blueprint. We just gotta, we gotta follow it.
Absolutely. You cannot be responsible for anybody's happiness or anybody's success, because at the end of the day, you enable them to depend on you. You're gonna be taking care of them for the rest of their life. You got to teach a man how to fish. You cannot.
Nobody got time for
that. I don't have no kids for a reason.
Listen, I feel like we've heard all the horror stories of NBA players or rappers were going broke because they done try to support the whole entire hood. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no.
You can support them in different ways. Absolutely. So,
but they was just having them coming to shows and just giving them money to be around. Nah, you better at least put them on payroll so you can get some taxes back on them.
Man, you better buy a Wingstop and put them to work.
Listen, they be managing or something.
Something. You're gonna do some work around here. Oh no! They don't get it. It's okay. We get it.
I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Ooh, we going in it. Now let's get it.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them. And he's one of my favorite men to cut the emphasize.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
So my guest of honor is the president of the Dreamers Club and an advocate for the culture. He wears a belt of loyalty, a cape of honesty, and a badge of creativeness. He's a pen stroke away from making cultural change, and I can't wait to see how his art changes the game. He describes himself as the friend that's always invited to the barbecue because he brings a bottle of Courvoisier.
Absolutely.
He received his Bachelor of Business Administration degree from UT-Arlington, and he is currently the writer and creator of the Fiasco Comic. He's determined to have our stories told by people who look like us and who truly understand the culture. The goal is to create dope stories and characters that make you laugh, cry, scream at the TV, and maybe even open your mind to new possibilities. He wants everyone who's chasing the dream to remain faithful and know that their time is coming soon. He's rooting for everybody black. Today, my guest is Ben Ajayi. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. And that sounded so good. I was like, she talking about me? Because that sounded real good. You should be writing everybody introduction right there, Trina. I promise you that. That sounded real lovely, boy.
You're a mess.
You put that on my resume.
Well, I mean every word. I really do. Everybody says the same thing. I'll be like, but I mean it though.
That sounded lovely. That boy, that just lifted my spirits up.
Well, we all need our spirits lifted with everything that's going on in 2020. Like, I mean, it's been crazy. So, How has quarantine been going for you?
I mean, like you said, like everybody, it's been a struggle because like different stuff is coming up with family and health with the parents. I think that's also one thing that is the worst about getting older is you seeing your parents getting older too or whatever. So just certain stuff with that, but thankfully everyone's is still here, healthy and everything, and outside of the obvious of the amount of Black folk especially who have been placed out of work and or got corona and passed away. Just for me personally, I did appreciate the time to actually just sit and think and be by myself a little bit during this time and not having to go to work, fight traffic, deal with people and everything else or whatever, make obligations. You know what I'm saying? Now you ain't got to make no excuses no more. You can just say, it's Corona. I can say it. You know what I'm saying? When people try to invite you out, you ain't got to lie no more and say you busy. Nah, it's a pandemic. I'm going to be at the house. So just being able that time to disconnect and really be like in your own space, in your mind, and really reflect and plot and plan your next move and just sit and pray and just everything else. You actually have the time to like work on you. I felt like because I was at home from March basically until July of not having to go into work. So just that time to just be by myself and meditate and think and develop my ideas, to just think about what I want to do next. It was super beneficial for me. So I would say I was kind of glad we were able to unplug and just be at the house for a little bit.
Shoot, I can agree with you on that. Like, I feel like we always have to try to figure out who we are in this season versus like depending on the old person that you were before. So
Absolutely.
having time to reflect and talk to God and find out who we are now always helps us to like do better moving
Yeah.
forward. So
I wouldn't even say the growth. I've even noticed growth within myself just in that small, period of time that I'm extremely thankful for, that I know wouldn't have happened without being forced to, just sit down, so I am appreciative of that.
there's always a silver lining.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, since we're talking about journeys and everything, the person that we are, like, how did you become the person that you are today? Like, tell us a little bit about your background.
I'll say the main thing is just growing up in a Nigerian household. Like I feel like that's where a majority of my personality like comes from. My humor, the fact that there's really not much you could say that'll just rile up my spirit because I've never already heard it at the house before.
Yeah.
So just in that aspect, and then also just the drive, and sometimes it probably is an unhealthy amount of the drive of wanting to succeed and things like that, because that just all just comes from my parents, because there is no such thing. You ain't no failures. That's just not what you're going to do. So so all that comes from them. And then even in that time of just like self-reflect, just realizing that a lot of my creativity and me wanting to write was directly because I wasn't really allowed to go out like that, like growing up and stuff like that. I'm in the house, so just left me in the house with my own vices. And we, like, to my mom's credit, we always just used to watch like a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, things like that. So just even like thinking back to those times, a lot of my humor and things like that directly comes from Wayne's Brothers, Harvey Show, Jamie Foxx, Martin, Fresh Prince, like all of those, so it's just like that, like a lot, I would say a lot of like who I am, how I grew up, like, and my personality directly comes from, my parents and, how I was raised and things like that. So that's what I'll say.
I love the fact that Nigerian parents they don't even allow you to fail. Like, it's not even an option. There's always like, you're going to school for these things, or you gonna it ain't no or.
Like, look, like high school graduation, there was no congratulations, whatever. It was where you was going to school at. When I graduated with my undergraduate, are you getting your master's? Which was a no. So there's always that expectation. Okay, what's next? Like, there is no, oh, okay, cool, all right, this was expected. So what you about to do now, type of thing. So that's also, like I said, that's definitely where I get my drive from. Even when we've talked about this offline, just like those small accomplishments, and sometimes not taking the time to appreciate what you've done up until this point, of always just constantly like, okay, I got to do, this, that, and the third. Because even like looking back to, when I did graduate from undergrad, I couldn't even like really necessarily enjoy the moment, because I was more like, oh, I need to get a job because, boy, I'm broke.
Oh no,
I need some coins in this bank account. I need me a job. Like, what? So it's just like, even like, I wish like I could go back and tell my younger self, like, enjoy like the season and moments that you're in, because you're not gonna get this back, and then that's still kind of what I'm even telling myself now when I do make small progress, of just appreciating the moment, and just doing the simple thing of congratulating yourself, and not being so focused on, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta get to the next step, I gotta go here, so that's also one of those things.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's interesting when you have that type of expectations placed on you, because it's like you really don't know how to find yourself, because you're like, there's always somebody telling you to do something. So when it came to school, how did you choose your major? Like, how did you even end up in that field? Because I was shocked. I just want to know.
Well, I'm laughing because, like, and I'm sure if there's any other Nigerians that listen to this, they know the fields: lawyer, doctor, nurses, engineer. So I originally started off as engineer because because I was like, oh, that's what makes the most money, so that's what we're gonna do. So freshman year, I was in there for intro for engineers, intro to electrical engineers, chemistry for engineers, calculus, a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So first semester, I did my first test for intro to electrical engineering. they said he wrote on the board. He said the average for the test was like a 50 or something like that, and everyone was like, "Ooh." Then he said the lowest grade was a 35, and I was like, "Damn." Ooh. I said, "Who's that dumb person that got a 35 on the test?" So he passing out the thing, and he folded my thing like this, and I said, "Uh-oh." Now I peeked that thing. I said, "Oh, I'm the dumb. I got a 35." I said, "Oh no, this ain't gonna work for me. I need to get up out of here or whatever." So then, I just sat and like that, like, okay, what is it that I really want to do? And just going back to like high school, I remember I was just like in this like sports marketing class or whatever. And anytime it came like to like presenting or whatever, I was just always like just do good. It was just like natural where like the teacher was like, you really need to like think about like doing this or whatever. But at the time, I was like, nah, I gotta be an engineer because my parents
Yeah.
So then, when I made the decision to, change my major to, business marketing or whatever, I was nervous. I was nervous to tell my parents like, hey, I'm about to switch this major or whatever. But thankfully, my parents, even at that point, they've even grown and was like, you know what, it's your decision, and this is your path, and if it's meant for you, you're gonna be successful regardless, whatever. So they were receptive to me being in business marketing. So I kind of been doing that ever since.
Thank God for that.
Hey,
I'm glad that they accepted it because boy, that could have went a whole nother route.
And it's like, just thinking back, I ain't have no business because I'm terrible at just like basic math and calculations, like terrible. So I had no business up in there, like nah. So it wouldn't have worked out. Just point blank period.
That's not my ministry either, bro. Don't feel bad.
Listen.
Well, obviously that degree led you to corporate America.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how do you maintain in corporate America, and how do you keep your creativeness while you're in that space? Because that's a hard one.
Like you said, it is, and I would say my very first job was it was marketing, and they were looking at you to kind of use your creativity, but it wasn't that much because ironically I ended up as a marketing coordinator at an engineering firm, so it was just but most people who know engineers, they're very like, so there really wasn't that much room to wiggle and do things like that or whatever. And kind of every job since then, it's been like I can kind of squeeze in some creativity and do my stuff like that, but it definitely is a struggle. More times than not is what I do outside of my 9 to 5 that I'm able to fully use my creativity and things like that, because Trina, how it is working for they they don't get it. They don't understand the vision. They say they want these fresh ideas and everything else, but as soon as they don't get it, or they like, I don't know X, what I'm saying. So it's just just one of those things. That's why I don't necessarily get too high or too low when they're not feeling the idea, or let me fully put out my ideas and stuff like that, because I know where I'm supposed to be at, and I know this is just kind of a launching pad to get me to what I'm trying to do. So
that's the seed money. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right
Absolutely.
to say that. It's the seed money. Well, let's talk about what you do outside of work, the artistic work that you do. Let's talk about Fiasco and everything that's going on.
Yeah, that process started like seven years ago, when it was getting there at that time where I was getting ready to graduate. That's when you get the question like, oh, what you gonna do? What you about to get into? Da, 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 da. And nothing, like, because it was just so crazy, because up until that point I just had this vision of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be corporate marketing department, advertising, I'm gonna be doing my thing, fresh 3-piece suits, corner office, I'm gonna be doing that thing, I'm gonna be up in there. But then it's just like, as I got closer and closer to graduation, that just did not like sound like appeasing. I don't know what it was. It just did not like get me like excited as like it used to when I was a lot younger or whatever. And then I just literally just like sat and just kind of thought of like what I wanted to do or whatever. And because it was just crazy, because just going back to like like I said, like childhood, and like being forced to like be in the house or whatever. And that's kind of where the creativity started. I like legit had character in my mind since I was like in middle school. That I would just like constantly just be thinking of like the story, how he would look, how he would talk, scenarios, things like that. And then I literally, like I said, like around that time where I was getting ready to graduate, I was just like, you know what? Like, why not? Let me like actually start, putting it on paper, So it just kind of started from there. And, it's just funny because I'm trying to find it. I don't know where I put those first like couple issues. Those first couple issues were trash. Like it was just literally just fights and hands being thrown and action, no death, no nothing else or whatever. So to see, from there to where I am, now in just terms of, the storytelling with the comic and, having, 2 issues fully written out, drawn, published is out there. Currently working on the 3rd one and have because the plan is four books, 12, between 10 and 12 chapters per book or whatever. Whole story is already, thought out, complete. Everything else, is just, getting that developed or whatever. So, from the start, from, where I'm started to where I am now, it's just been, a really, big blessing. And even and the main thing too that I try to tell people is this is not just, comics or whatever for me or whatever. I have different stories and everything else, like just like in the boat, just waiting. I'm like using this to springboard so I can get in those like other avenues and create other stories and things like that. So definitely not just, that superhero comic stuff. I definitely have other things up my sleeve that, I also been working on that's in the boat, some movies, things like that. So we getting it started.
Ben said, "Don't put him in no box." That's basically
Oh
what
yeah,
he just told
absolutely
y'all.
not.
Don't put us in no box.
Absolutely not. Because I got, like I said, I got a lot of different ideas and just ready to get made and everything. So yeah, we definitely ready.
Yeah, I know all that is it's really cool to see you do what you're doing because like you said, you started from those 2 issues and you feel like they was trash, but you needed that to get to where you are now. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you decided to put pen to paper because
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why I'll tell anybody it's all about just starting. That's really it. Like it's like honestly and truly, it's starting. You're gonna make the mistakes. You're gonna like whatever, because it's like in the world of instant gratification, we put our worth in likes and clicks and views and everything. So it's just like I put this out and only a couple of people liked it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And we get down on ourselves and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But really, we should be looking at it as like, okay, I'm being consistent. I'm putting this out, and it's just like really we should be looking at one more person likes it, one new person or whatever. That's a win.
that's a win.
Because it's just like, and I know this. It's like we have this expectation, but you have to like realize like, excuse me, people that you think gonna support you, they not. That's just what it is. They gonna keep scrolling and just going about their business. But and sometimes it's not their fault. It's just that I feel like they don't know that especially with the algorithms on social media, that they don't know a like, comment, whatever keeps it on the feed. You know what I'm saying? Sharing it like keeps it on the feed, the interactions and stuff like that. So and I know people can get down on people supporting it, not supporting it, and things like that. But it's just really just keeping the mindset of, I'm going to keep progressing. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep, putting it out there and stuff like that. And just let the chips like fall where they may. Cause I think it was Will Smith when he was doing his promo for Bad Boys 3. And he was just like, there's never going to be enough box office sales. There's never going to be, so it's just like you putting your work in something like that is just going to be a never ending battle, So it's just like when he said that, I was like, damn, I really have been like, I put something out. I'm like, okay, let me see, people fucking with it, and that's not what like it should be. You should just be putting your best like foot forward in your process and making it. And once you share that in the world, you should just know that, hey, I did what I said I was going to do. Be proud about that, and just let everything else fall where they may. So
absolutely. Like I feel like whenever you're doing something or trying to do something new, you have to know your why and you have to know your bottom line. And if you know those 2 things, that's the only thing that matters. Like As long as you put it out and you're successful because you did it.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it too. So I feel that.
I definitely agree with you. I think that why is super important, and making sure that it's not a superficial why. Because I feel like early on, my why was a little bit superficial. It was like, oh, when I'm gonna stun on you. I'm gonna stun on you. Y'all gonna see me. I'm gonna be shining on y'all. But it's like that's so because regardless, it's if you're doing it to prove people wrong, there's always gonna be someone that is down your way. So once again, it'll be a never ending battle. So that's pointless.
True.
And a waste of energy. So,
super waste of energy. You'll never be satisfied from that either. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, as an entrepreneur or a creative, you are alone a lot. So you have to like separate yourself from other people. For me, I feel like trying to create something sometimes make people like have some type of feelings towards you because they don't know how to accept that you can't be there. Like you can't be around everybody, you can't do everything. So how do you balance working, creating, and like your social life all together?
It's crazy. I feel like I went through like peaks and valleys. I feel like when I was like starting it, I feel like especially back then it was like the popular like, nah, you gotta not be here for this, sacrifice this. You ain't no sleeping, no this that and this and whatever. But then as time went on and like me listening like to other people, how they were just like saying that that's what their mentality was too, and they honestly regret missing out on so many things, just weddings, birthdays, and things like that, and they truly regret it. It made me sit back and like look at myself and my situation or whatever. Is it really worth it for me to like kill myself for like for this or whatever, and miss out on like memories with people who I like actually consider friends and brothers and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I had to sit and like tell myself that it wasn't. So I actually like just try to make a better effort of like we joked about earlier on, being invited, actually like going to wherever, because like you said, these are memories and everything that last forever. And unfortunately we've experienced it. Crazy things happen, and people aren't around forever. Like we think, we just assume, oh yeah, we gonna grow old together. We gonna see the grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we people probably gonna start falling off around 70, 80. That's we can accept that, but life don't work like that. So it'll just be a shame that you're so focused on this thing of accomplishing and not spending time with people while you still can or whatever. So I've definitely just made sure to be more mindful of that, and making sure that I am spending those time with my people and the things I love, because because it's not gonna be it's just not gonna be worth it. Like, yeah, I accomplished all these things, but I missed out on like my family, my brother. Like it just wouldn't be worth it. So I definitely will just, anybody who's listening, just make sure they make time for the people that they care about and everything.
I definitely agree. Some stuff you can't make it to, but the stuff you can, you definitely need to try to be like visible in your people's lives. We already touched on like how social media likes and all of that kind of stuff can take a toll on your mindset. And I think that as a creative, we all go through mental health situations where we have to make sure we check ourselves and like make sure we keep ourselves uplifted. So how have you been dealing with that when it comes to your overall life?
Woo! I would say, of course, I think starting off, it was like the normal of, that, internal pressure of like, okay, I gotta make it. I gotta do this. I gotta do that or whatever, But then I definitely saw a turn when, unfortunately, when Vic passed, because I would, I'll never forget it, because I remember I was at work, job that I hated, I get a text from his sister, and she's like, Vic always considered you, a brother or whatever. And I was like, and she always used to tease us about like our relationship, because she'd be like, oh, like Vic likes you more than me, all that stuff. Whatever. So I was like, girl, what you talking about? Whatever. And then she was like, oh my God, like you don't know or whatever. And I was like, no, what? And then that's when she was like, Big passed away or whatever. And I just like never like I don't think this would be something I'll never forget. Like I literally like saw that and I like legit just like fell to my knees like at work. And then I remember like my coworker was like, "You okay? You okay?" I was like, just kind of like that, and just like not now, whatever. And then it was just from that day, especially, it was just like my mental. I know like mentally, I was just like completely like distraught because like in my mind, because me and Vic just made plans like, oh, we're gonna work together, we're gonna do this and da 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 da. And it's just like now, like it was like a feeling of like guilt. It was like I was wasting my time. Like I didn't do everything I was supposed to do like quick enough. Because if I did, he would have been able to enjoy it while he's still here, type of stuff or whatever. So it was just kind of like just feeling like you just wasting like your time and everything else, and just like really just feeling down, and then putting that like on top of that pressure on yourself, like man, I can't lose nobody else before I do this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like just going through that was like a lot, because that constant showing up to work at a job that you hate when you're not supposed to be doing that. You just feel like you're just wasting, like constantly just wasting your time and everything else. It was just during that time, like especially, was just a lot. And then a couple months after, we had John, chapter brother, he passed away or whatever. And then I think for me, like a couple of weeks even after that, a pastor at my church back home, he passed away. So it was just like it was just like back to back to back, just like constantly, just like just hitting me on top of the head. And it was just like that feeling of I'm wasting my time because I'm not doing like my purpose or whatever. So it was just like me trying to rush the process. And like I said, like mental health wise, I was just in like a real like bad place. And I just like honestly, if it wasn't like I definitely had to go to therapy for that, and just and that helped with just like removing like that pressure and like feeling guilty and things like that. So it's definitely helped, because like I tell everybody, because people would be so quick to, oh, you need to be an entrepreneur, you need to do this, da 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 da. And I'll be telling people like this is not like easy. Like you be going up and down with the
not
emotions,
easy.
like and just feeling like people don't understand and don't get it, and those dark moments of like, am I really doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, why am I at this 9 to 5? Like, why am I wasting my time? Like, like people don't, and I'm not like by no means like because like downplaying like 9 to 5, because everyone's supposed to be in their purpose. Like, if you're honestly like happy in that, like that's like you don't wake up when your alarm goes off and you're like, oh, then like by all means that's cool. But for people like me and you, when that alarm go off and I have to be at somewhere 8 hours on my day, that is like I dread like that or whatever.
Yeah.
So that feeling on top of losing a brother who it was just super unexpected. It was just like a lot.
Definitely a lot. Definitely a lot.
So it's just like I said, I'll just encourage, especially because I feel like every Black person in America needs therapy.
Everybody, every Black person has PTSD for sure. We all need therapy. Like I was like, I definitely can't wait to find me a therapist,
because like it's just a lot for any person to deal with, and I feel like just naturally, I don't think we are even taught or like equipped to even deal with death or whatever, or this journey that we're on of trying to like better ourselves when it's kind of outside of the norm and everything, and that that self-doubt, and that sometimes feeling even like sorry for yourself, and those nights where you're praying and everything, you just like I don't know, because it's crazy, we do it to ourselves when we don't like feel like we're seeing any progress. And we're just like what is going on? Like, what am I doing? Why is this not happening? And just getting like just super frustrated with yourself. It definitely can be a lot for anybody, honestly.
Yep, it definitely can be a lot. And I commend you on going to therapy and taking care of that and making sure that you set yourself up to be successful. Because if you don't have your mentality in your mind, you can't do anything anyway. So I don't understand why people think that they can make it off their own strength.
I mean, it's because you how we was raised, Black folk. Oh, you can pray it away. That's what is one of those things. But I'm glad that we're dispelling that myth, because even growing up, you would think therapy just for like super like crazy people, and it's not. It really isn't or whatever. Because I'll tell anybody, if I was single, I'll require any partner, if you want me to take you serious, you gotta go therapy. There ain't no way I'm
Yes,
gonna be working on myself and you ain't working on yourself.
that's what I'm saying. Like everybody
Yeah,
needs to get that baggage off of them. Like it's a whole
absolutely.
bunch of baggage that you have that you don't even know you have.
Absolutely. So it's just like you don't even necessarily even have to be in grief. You can just like it's literally just personal development and just making yourself, because even like I say, even now, just like something as simple as you, Trina, you've been knowing me since I was 19 years old. You know, I
Wow,
used to like to argue. I used to like to argue. Like
he did
like if someone said, "Bro, the sky is red," I would literally argue and be like, "Are you stupid? The sky is blue. Like, what are we talking about here?"
change my
You know what
mind.
I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I be like, bro, what are you stupid? But you know, some people be like, I'm not about to argue with no fool. Like he gonna say the sky red, let him think that. But me, but now just seeing that, it's like why am I gonna waste my time, my energy to disprove like no, like I
Yep.
know I know who I am like I don't need to do, you know what I'm saying? So just something as simple as that, like you can just like you find like you can just basically fine tune yourself going to
hmm
therapy. And like I said, that's why I'll encourage anybody, and not like I said, even outside of grief, just just for your own like well being.
Yeah, it's a safe space. I always just say it's a safe place for you to unleash and unload and then get resources. That's all
Absolutely.
it is to me.
Because I know, especially during that time of of loss for me, when I felt like I was just constantly like losing people, whatever, I was stacking on. And
hmm
what I mean by that, it could be, oh, I got a flat tire that day, or where I'd be like, I can just never catch a break, and I'll just add everything I've been going through into one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not differentiate just and say, okay, this is just this bad thing that's happening in this moment. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You know what I'm saying? So just like I said, going to therapy and her helping me like making sure I'm separating the thing and not just piling on, because for a long time I was just piling on. Anytime it like Trina, it could be like the littlest like thing or whatever. I'm just like, can't catch a break. This day about to be terrible. Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da. You know what I'm saying? So just like, helping me get out that mindset was like big, and not being so stuck on like when bad things like happen or whatever, and being able to like more so like brush it off and not be so stuck on the things outside of my control. That's probably the biggest thing, especially
Yep.
as like someone that's trying to do what we're doing, making sure not to obsess and get overly emotional over the things that we cannot control. So that's
hmm
been like my biggest thing, of just focusing on the things that I can directly affect and control, and just letting everything else fall where they may. Because if I didn't gain that, oh no, these months of quarantine would have completely
Yeah.
had me messed up. So yeah,
Yeah. For sure. Like accepting that everything is not gonna be what you think it's gonna be too is a good one. Your expectations make it harder for you. So
mm-hmm.
yeah. I think that it's important for us to have a good group of people around us, like our support group. And you're my frat brother, so we family in real life. So I want to know what your 5 non-negotiables are when it comes to relationships and friendships.
Oh, 5 non-negotiables. I would say one being, you gotta be genuine. I think you really, I feel like you have to be genuine, um, because don't nobody got time. Because like me, and this is like the thing I like have like always like prided myself on. If I say anything to anybody, best believe I don't have no problem saying that to you directly. And I just hope all of the people I surround myself with have that. I need all of the people I surround myself with to have that same characteristic or whatever.
hmm
I would say also, number two would be, can't think of the word, but basically it would be, um, like for example, I know if I said, Karina, my car don't flip over. No matter the time or day and night, you would come, and
hmm
it's the same with me or whatever. So that I guess the
Oh, reciprocation.
yes,
Yeah.
like having that or whatever. Because granted, people say, oh, you shouldn't do things and expect in return. And granted, yeah, but it is you start seeing like you're like, wait, I'm always the friend that you call,
always.
But when I need you, I don't.
You don't need those kind of friends.
Exactly.
They ain't your friends.
Okay. I'll say 3, supportive. When in any of your your ventures or what you trying to do, having those people there that will support you and sometimes uplift you when you need it or whatever. I think I only got 3. To be honest, I think that's really. I think I honestly say I think those are like the main things, and of course, don't be raggedy because we don't like raggedy people. That, and raggedy could fall under a mirage of things. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be raggedy.
Don't be raggedy. And Tree, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't be raggedy.
I do. That's why it's funny.
Because we can't deal with raggedy people around here. We don't got no time.
No sympathy for them either. We ain't got time for raggedy.
So I'll say that's my number 4. Don't be raggedy.
Don't be raggedy. That's hilarious, bro. Don't be raggedy.
Hey.
How do you define success and happiness?
I would say defining success would definitely for me would be I think like kind of like what we touched on when I'm about to lay my head down on Sunday evening, not dreading Monday, because I don't know when it actually hit me, but it was just like, bro, that makes zero sense that majority of people only live for 3 days out the week. Yeah. And there's 7. That's not okay. Like that is just like, to me in my spirit, that just was not okay. So I think success for me would be being able to enjoy each and every day and not just Friday through Sunday. So I'll say that would be happiness, and success would be me being able to put, my people that, have supported me throughout in positions where they're shining as well. Because I think I would say that's my number 1 why.
Yeah.
Because I know too many talented people, way too many talented people that I know are going to blow and do big things or whatever. So if I can help or assist that in any way, that would be just the ultimate thing. If all my friends around me, every single last one of them are doing stuff that's like happy, like makes them like genuinely happy, and they don't got no, like, of course we're gonna have minor complaints, but just the overall, just like they're good. Yeah. They're not dreading going to a place 8 hours of the day that they hate. Then I would definitely say I was successful.
That's the ultimate goal. I feel like you can't be the only person that eats.
Oh, yeah, that's just silly.
Because they're gonna turn to eat you. Eventually, you're gonna be on the plate.
Yeah. So it's like I said, I definitely, because I think before LeBron, it was like, oh, we gotta take people with us. Nah, we gotta put them in positions where they can shine too. Yeah, I think that's
absolutely,
and that's the goal. I mean, he showed us the blueprint. We just gotta we gotta follow it.
Absolutely. You cannot be responsible for anybody's happiness or anybody's success, because at the end of the day, you enable them to depend on you. You're going to be taking care of them for the rest of their life. You got to teach a man how to fish. You cannot.
Nobody got time for
that. I don't have no kids for a reason.
Listen, I feel like we've heard all the horror stories of, NBA players or rappers who are going broke because they done try to support the whole entire hood. You know what I'm saying? And ain't no...
You can support them in different ways. Absolutely. So,
but they was just having them coming to shows and just giving them money to be around. Nah, you better at least put them on payroll so you can get some taxes back on them.
Man, you better buy a Wingstop and put them to work.
Listen, they be managing or something.
Something. You're gonna do some work around here. No, but since we talk about money real quick, let me ask you this, because I always be like being rich. So I want to know how you budget. He said, no, I'm not.
I'm not.
How do you do with budgeting? Like, is that a big factor for you, or is it something you just not getting into?
It's a work in progress. we each have our strengths and everything else, and until recently, until my older age, I was definitely one of those that's like, if I got it, okay, I'm just gonna, because I feel like we've all went through a phase. I'm sure people still in that phase where we calculate what's in our bank account in our head. We ain't even gotta look at the bank account. I should be good. I'm just going in,
Swipe that card, get denied. Shoot.
What the worst when you actually do log in and your account, you like, oh no, I think someone done stole my car. You go through the charge, you like, no, that was me.
It was me.
Damn, that was me. Damn, I sure did buy them shoes up. That's me too. So it's just like that's definitely, a work in progress or whatever. And I know, but especially with projects, when I know I'm gonna have to like pay somebody to do something like with the trailer and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely made a mindset like, okay, let me put this to the side. I have to make sure that I have enough to cover this or whatever, so I'm not struggling with it. So definitely of recent, I got out of that mindset and to make sure to definitely budget and plan ahead. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I'm happy to hear that because, yeah, these projects ain't gonna pay for themselves. So
that's when it gets real. When you start bringing money out your own pocket, what?
Yep, you be like, this better work. I'm
spending my money, and that's, I forgot who said it. I'm sure a few people said that's when you get to the point where you spend your own money and you have that belief in yourself. That's when it's gonna start going, because you ain't gonna be wasting your own money.
Or your time either. Money and time at this age.
Listen, yeah.
I only do things that matter.
Absolutely. And that'll be the most where especially of last couple of years, that's where I've spent the most of my money. Outside of that, when I see that $5.99 shipping, I ain't about to do that. But with these projects, it's like you're planting your seeds for something better. So anytime I do splurge, it's usually on one of these projects. That's it. Or if I get unexpected amount of money, putting it to the side because I know I got something coming up for this project. So that's kind of how it's been of late.
Well, I will say this: your wedding was one of the best weddings I've ever been to in my life. So I had to ask. What'd you say?
No, I was about to say, if anyone's listening, I will definitely encourage y'all to just go down to the courthouse. Much easier and cheaper.
Well, hey, it's okay. You did it big. It was great. We had a good time. And I have to ask you about the missus and what she has contributed to your life.
Oh, because first she's doing lovely. She's doing well and everything, flourishing. But I would say definitely when in terms of planning and budgeting, that's her.
Yeah.
Because you want to say, we ain't gonna be spending all willy nilly. So she definitely the main one that's put me on that budget and everything, and definitely help with because that's the thing, like, and that's where we're kind of opposite. I was always if I get an idea, I'm just gonna take it.
We the same.
I'm just gonna take it and go. Like, it's not even all the way thought out, but F it, I'm gonna take it and go. But her, she's definitely more of the plot, plan, a little bit more like hesitant, like in doing those things. So that's kind of how we like helped each other. Of like her putting on me, like, okay, let's make sure we plan like all of this out, especially if we gonna be spending money on this or whatever. Let's make sure or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then and the reverse effect is like her losing like her hesitancy and just knowing that me instilling like, nah, you need to like, have faith and believe in yourself that, it is going to work out. So, it's a balancing act, but we've definitely been able to, bounce off each other for the better. So
good to have a partner, good partnership. And we also need to tell everybody, if you have an idea, passion is not going to pay for it. So passion is not promoting it. I just want to put that out there because I've done that before. I was like, I'm going to do well. You better have a marketing plan in place. You better have a plan.
You have to. And like we said, at at one point or another, you're gonna have to put some funds behind whatever it is that you're working with or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's the thing too that I also had to learn, because I feel like it's just kind of how we grew up. Because with rappers, when we hear the story, oh, somebody gave me this, or
Mm-hmm.
with writers or whatever, oh yeah, I submitted to this person and they liked it, so this or whatever. But we're in the age of we can make and produce stuff ourselves, so we kind of have to put ourselves on or whatever. So that's even the thing, is like we have to get out the mindset of like us waiting for validation from others to tell us our stuff is dope, and just say,
Yeah.
you know what, we gonna put ourselves. Because the main thing too, because when I started writing the comics, the plan was, write this comics, the right person gonna see it, and then it's gonna be made into a TV show, whatever. But it was just like one day I was like, why am I gonna wait for someone to validate this comic when I can write this script and start working on it like that, and talk to a frat brother, and he gave me the courage and said that no, we can probably shoot this ourselves or whatever, and that's basically how the process started.
That's awesome. We're in a blessed time because we don't have to worry about red tape. So that's really good.
Absolutely.
Like you can't wait on people to fund you or take care of you, because people don't care that much about you to do that for
Absolutely.
you.
And I
So
think, and another thing is just like people now, they have to see something. They have to see it like in their face to be like, because if I try to explain, like, because for example, even when I was trying to get people like to try out for the acting parts in the thing, wherever, me explain, they're like, I don't know. But now them seeing it in front of them, they're like, they you can see. And I think that's just how people are. They need to like see it and know that, for one, that you're serious about it, that you put the time, money, effort into producing this, and it came out of quality or whatever. So I just definitely would encourage anybody, if you have an idea, you need to like not say, oh, this is my idea, and try to present the idea. You need to try to make that idea so people can like really see your vision or whatever. So,
tangible evidence.
mm-hmm.
For real,
Mm-hmm.
for real. Well, speaking of tangible evidence, I'm excited about the trailer that you dropped. I'm excited
thank
about
you. Thank you. You got to give you that sneak peek. You got to give me that sneak peek.
I'm excited. I'm super excited. I want to know, how did you come about getting the actors for it? Like, how did you even like come across all these people?
Yeah, and like I've said before on my IG post, where all the actors and everything that I worked with, they were all super amazing, super dope. It was just a really humbling experience, for one, because this is, once you like work on something so long or whatever, it becomes like this protective thing, like your baby or whatever. So for one, for them just even saying that they liked the script was just dope, dope in itself. And then two, the fact that when we're on set and they would act out their scenes and then come back to me and say, "Is that how you envision it?" Da, da, da. And it's just like, these are all people who've done jobs prior to, and this is my first. So for them to even like want to hear my opinion on anything was just like, it blew me away or whatever. But how that all came about was, like I said, it was just frat brother at TCU. He was working at a studio here in Dallas. I just, for one, just asked him to look over the script, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll edit it, give you my thoughts and opinions on it." And then from there it went, "Hey, bro, it's." He was like, "It's good, and were you thinking about doing this yourself?" And I was like, "What? I don't know." Cause just because when like those type of things, sometimes we can't even wrap our own minds around. So it was just one of those things. He was like, "No, like I really think we can shoot this. We can do it ourselves. Yada yada yada." Da, 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 da. And I was just like, you know what? Like, why not? So from there, like he really took that part over of setting out like the casting calls and everything else, setting up the crew and things like that. Because I actually did I went to a few of the casting calls, the ones I could make, that was working with that 9 to 5 work schedule, whatever. So even just that whole experience was just super dope, and it was just one of those things that, like I said, the people that I worked with, all of them were amazing, all of them good energy, good vibes, like just definitely good to be around. Definitely would I see myself working with them in the near future and everything. So it was just like I said, it was definitely a good experience.
Whenever it's time for you to move, God will supply your resources.
Oh yeah,
All of them. Always. So I want to ask you two more questions. What role does spirituality and religion play in your life?
I think it's everything, honestly, because without the main important ingredient, and that's faith, I don't think I would, be doing what I'm doing, because it's because it's crazy when you think, but like it's legit, it's crazy. Like someone who grew up, reading comics, watching anime, watching other things like Sack Shock, Power Rangers, Justice League, Teen Titans, to think that, oh yeah, I'm a be like doing that or whatever. Like I couldn't even, imagine. But once, like you said, that purpose and idea is put on your heart and your spirit or whatever, and that's your vision. The only thing, like, the only thing you really can lean on is faith. Because I don't know anyone in my direct connection or circle that did it before that I can ask or help or things like that. My parents definitely did it the quote unquote conventional way of going to college, degree, and they working their job,
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that it's everything, because without me having faith and that believe in knowing that I have a greater purpose of just sitting behind a desk for the next 30, 40 years until I retire, just isn't for me. I wouldn't be here right now. So I would definitely say everything.
Everything. Good. All right. So if you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
If I knew, I think I would have probably, the main thing, I probably would have attended therapy earlier. That's probably the main thing. Definitely attended therapy earlier. But outside of that, no, I don't think I would have, because those changes, those mistakes, and everything else is what made me like who I am, or where made me like. There was a time where of course in college, when you broke, like
Put another broke on top of that. Broke.
broke, and one of those situations was caused by my own fault, because I didn't want to ask for help, I didn't want to do whatever, and I made that situation a lot tougher than it needs to be. But in that situation made me be able to relate to, so when I know someone else is going through that, I can have empathy and talk to them and things like that. And it was just that once you go through tough times or whatever, you feel just you feel like I'm made for this. There's nothing more that can come at me that can get me down or whatever. So I don't think I would change anything other than me going to therapy early. I think the main thing would be, I think I would probably give my young self just some advice. I'd probably be like, hey, don't be wasting your time with that one over there. That's a waste of time, brother.
Waste of time.
And probably just tell them, like, don't be so hard on yourself, and things will work out. And definitely tell them, like, you enjoy this moment, like, have fun. Like, you can worry and stress about your job, your career later.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy this time, enjoy this space, enjoy the people that you're around. Like, enjoy this moment, because you're gonna, a couple years later, you're gonna be like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
well, I wish I could go back just for one day, just to, just kick it throughout the day and not have nothing to worry about. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'd be my main thing, just enjoying the space and time that I was in, telling my younger self to do that. So.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, like, tell us where they can find everything, talk about your website, all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, you can find I'm dropping constant content with the trailer and everything at all my social media. That's at Where You Been. That's WHERE_YOUBEN. Like I said, got the trailer dropping here later in October. You'll see, like I said, just constant content and everything else. So that's where you can find all the info at. And Trina, I appreciate you for having me on. And I just want the people to know that everybody needs a friend like you, because even before I knew even what I was going to do or whatever, you were one of those people that was just constantly like, bro, you gonna be successful. I know you are. This, that, and this, and with not even knowing what I was going to do, but just hearing that reassurance and everything, and you just always constantly positive, constantly supportive, constantly there, to listen or whatever. I feel like everybody needs and deserves a friend like you. So I'm thankful and blessed to have a friend like you. So,
oh, well, thank you, bro. I love you too, and I really do. I saw it early. I really do. You challenged me at first, so we ain't even gonna talk about that. No, but I mean, your personality is definitely one that I knew would be. You're gonna be seen. Like, we don't know the time, it's gonna take, but I know that you're gonna be very successful for sure. And I'm sure that DJ Blue, our brother, is very proud of you for real and everything that you're doing. So just keep doing what you're doing. And I appreciate the love.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all.